We started this our supervisor journey, many people will always think, oh, we just sent one email and then that was it, that was how we just got supervisor because our grades were good. No, it didn't happen. Do you want to just share a little bit about how you got to start, looking for supervisors?
So I remember clearly we had our defense in December 2014.
Okay.
So 2014 defense was done. January 2nd, 2015, I sent my first email.
Absolutely.
I had no transcript, no statement of result. I had no idea what I was doing because I really wanted to do this. I sent my first email. I just attached a bunch of awards I had gotten that meant nothing really. Well, so for me it was like I learned kind of, when you say you learn on the job, I learned on the job. I learned what to do and how to do it during the process. I didn't have anyone to really show me how to send emails. Now these days you have like Peter's YouTube channel, you have a couple of guys out there on LinkedIn, on YouTube. I don't think after 2015 it was not that explosive yet. It was just Nairaland.
Nairaland. There was
we're not advertising for Nairaland, but that was a good platform for us.
I think so. When we graduated, we started thinking about we want to apply to University of Ottawa, right? Before
you go, one thing I think for me, like I made sure I did for my undergrad was every year had to be better.
Absolutely.
That was one goal. I just could not do less than the previous year.
Absolutely.
So if I'm having a GPA, so not CGPA, not just GPA. For example, my third year GPA alone was 4.5. And that was the highest GPA I had gotten up to that point, right?
Then
I had to do better, so then I knew I had to do more than 4.5.
Absolutely.
So even in grad school now, talking about research, I try to make sure every year I'm a better person. I'm putting in much effort. I'm better at time management. I'm better at responding to simple things like emails, messages, So for those that want to apply for scholarships, if you don't start so great, you need to finish great at least.
I want to see that transition.
You want to see that progression, like, oh, this person is progressing every single year. That shows that even when you come here and you get trained, you have that potential to actually improve every single year and not be stagnant. You can actually progress. That's something that I think was really beneficial to me, was my continuous improvement, and you can see that really is very visible in how my GPA changes every year. So that's something you want to work on.
And sometimes even though your overall CGPA is like 3.5, for example, and then they look at your third, and that's why most times, even in a lot of universities these days, they just kind of focus on the last 2 years, mostly, maybe like the last 60 credits, because they know that first year you're a freshman, you're doing so much random courses that you're just trying to get your feet, right? So the fact that you don't really do like very well doesn't necessarily mean you're not good enough, right? But as you begin to kind of understand the system, then you begin to grow, and then your third and your fourth is really where you do your main courses, right? That's when you blow up, And then in 2015, if there was like a YouTube channel like mine, I would have probably watched every video on that channel just to get an idea, right? And one of the reasons and the passion why we keep sharing all of these is to really encourage you, so that you know that if you're passing through struggles, and you want to give up, right? We almost give up at some point, but we just have to keep pushing, because when you know what you want, obstacles might come, right? But I always appreciate Omo, my friend here. At some point when I wanted to give up, he was like, no, just keep pushing, right? Just one email. At some point, because he started sending email before me, right? So I was like, when we talked about sending email, so like, okay, he sent me like 1 or 2 samples, and then I composed my first one. I sent it to him. He was like, he laughed. Like, okay, don't worry, let's work on it, right? He gave me some ideas and suggestions on how to make the email better, and then before it worked. But before it worked, how many emails did you send, if you can remember? Actually?
I have a folder. I definitely sent. In the first few months, I definitely sent more than maybe 25 to 30 emails or even more. I have a folder. I have a full folder of emails going out. I definitely sent lots of emails. I think by the 6 months of 2015, I then knew how to send emails out.
Yeah, yeah.
For example, many of you want, not many of you, so you want to contact a professor, you've not done your background work.
Absolutely.
And you just send an email. They can tell that you are just, you've not done any background work. You're just sending, they say you're spamming emails to different professors.
You send one email, they know that those people, they've probably read more than 1,000, thousands of emails. So when you send a general email, hi doctor, so I'm interested in your area of research, thank you, all this kind of like very short. They call it general email, right? They don't just pay, because what they think is, well, if you send this to me, you can actually send this same email to another professor, like 5 different professors. So it has to always be a personalized email, right? So in terms of personalized, I think you mentioned that you want to just mention some few things that you think that might be a component of those emails. Yeah,
so one thing I did and I do now, even when contacting anybody I want to work with or collaborate with, is to actually see what they're working on. So one thing I did then was to actually start going to the prof's page, look at their research, look at their website, then look at their publications. I take their publications, I go through it, look at the abstract introduction, try to see what you're working on, and at least if I'm interested in working in that area. That's another thing, is that something you want to do, right? So if that's what I'm interested in, I then compose a personalized email like, hi, this is why, this is my name, I'm from this university, I have this GPA, I'm applying to start master's or PhD program at your university in this, let's say fall 2022 term, and part of the requirements is you need to contact supervisor. I've gone through your webpage, I see that you work on this research area, I actually read your recent publication on this area and I really found that interesting. I found this aspect you discussed in your methodology quite interesting, and I found that area can actually be expanded further. I'm wondering if you have currently have openings in your research group, and I really want to apply to be a grad student. So something in that line, so they know that you've actually gone through their webpage, you've gone through their research area, you've gone through one or two of their publications, and you're actually interested in their work. So you're not just coming just because you just want an opportunity, you actually want to work with them. They actually appreciate that, and even when they don't have an opening, some professors will actually appreciate that and email you back. Because one of the biggest challenges I found was not getting response at all. That was very frustrating. You don't even know what's going on when there's no feedback.
Good email or not, right?
But when the prof says, hey, thank you for your email, I currently don't have funding, that's more understandable. Then you can then ask for that, okay, do you mind keeping me, how do I put it now, in the books when you have funding, if anything comes up, let me know. At that point you can keep a conversation going, right? But when you don't do that due diligence, they just know that you're not serious about it, and you're just sending the same email to multiple professors.
So take your time, do your research, and then make sure you send this email with so much attention. Even when something as little as grammatical errors and all that can really, not so much important, but try to make sure that you grammatical everything, because you're coming to grad school to be writing every day, almost all the time, right? So you want to make sure that you get that all settled out.
I forgot to add that when you send the email, attach your transcript copy, attach your CV to the email. So attach, those are the two most important things you want to attach. And if you have any publications, attach that also. If you have any publication, if you don't have, that's fine. If you're coming for a master's program, most times people don't have publications already. So just attach your transcripts, copy, and attach your CV in the email.
Absolutely. So that's also one of the things, if you're coming for masters, like I didn't have any publication, some have publication, it's fine if it's an advantage, but if you don't have, that's when you can now sell yourself by your grades and the relevant courses that you did. For example, when I was applying to my prof, she is into lipid research and molecular biology, I just highlighted that I did some courses in lipid biochemistry, I did some molecular biochemistry, and then I had very good grades in those ones, right? So that becomes my selling point, especially when there is no CV, publication, right? So you send those emails, wait for a response. If you don't get an email, what do? Maybe you wait for a couple of days, it's a personal recommendation. You know, it's a personal recommendation. So I don't like sending an email to like maybe 2-3 professors in a department at the same time. I'm just my point is most of these professors, they do talk, you know, within themselves, among themselves, sorry. So if you one of them, because if they want to accept a student, they always tell them, like some professors have come to me and say, yeah, do you know so school in Nigeria? Somebody just sent me an email on that. Just imagine you are the one that sent an email to that, maybe send an email to one prof, and then the prof is talking to another prof. There's a student from Nigeria I'm trying to consider, and they're like, oh, that's great. That by the time they dig deep, they discover that you send email to all of them, right? So it's just like you won't find that written down. It's just my own personal recommendation. It might work for other people, you know, but it's just my personal recommendation. I would recommend, you know, send an email to one person. Wait for that's where you have multiple schools at hand at the same time, so that when you send one to one professor in one school, you send another one to another professor, so you can send like 2-3 emails, then maybe wait for like 1 or 2 days, you know, if you don't get the response, and then just keep sending, you know, you don't give up. It's when you give up, that's when you don't get it. Okay,
I was going to say, just to add to that, there's a book rule on how this works. So what we are sharing is our personal experience, our personal journey. What one else have is probably something different from what we've experienced. But one thing I know that is constant is persistence and consistency in all of that. A lot of times it's just the right timing. You find a program that requires a student with certain skills that they think, that they believe that you actually possess or you have, or they have a funding for certain group of it. It's just the right timing. So but if you send one email, like all the time, some people may email me and I say, okay, send email, and they send one email,
and they give up.
And they give up, and like, no, that's not how it works. I've had friends who sent one email and got it. It works that way too. So there's no book rule, but the main thing is, however, whatever it is, you just need to be consistent with how you with your emails.
So the reason why we emphasize numbers is because you don't know when. So it's not determined by how many email you send. It's about, because you don't know exactly when an email is going to be right. So you just keep sending until you find that time when that professor actually have funding. And sometimes it's not even because your email is not good enough. So if they don't have funding, they are not going to accept you. So it's not out of emotions. Okay, let's just accept this student even though I don't have funding. No, they don't do that. Even though you have first class 5.0 out of 5.0, if they don't have funding, you know, they don't have funding, and they are just going to tell you sorry, you know. And then when they have funding, they reply you. Then the next thing is they set up. Maybe they reply, it's okay, let's talk maybe via Zoom or Skype. You know, if you want more information, I've done a lot of video in terms of how to prepare for interview for prospective supervisors. You can see the link in my description, and then you can also just browse through my channel. That I've done lots of videos on that, so that you can learn from it. And then when you've been accepted, next thing is for you to apply for admission. You know, when you apply for admission, most times when the admission letter comes out, that's where the details about the funding, the amount and everything, you're going to see that on the admission letter. And mind you, you won't have access to this money until you come to Canada. So if they give you $21,000 in funding, don't just email your program and say, can you send me $10,000? No. So when you get here, they're going to be using the money to pay you, to pay your fund, your fees, and then and you can pay the accommodation from there as well. And then, you know, you get here and then you start your research work. So that's pretty much, you know, our story is a story of persistence, and it's a story of the power of mentorship, right? When you have people that have done it and you just seek advice, it's really fantastic. What
I want to add is also individuals have different journey. Peter and I both went to Bristol University. Peter was the best student in my faculty, right? So technically speaking, Peter should get scholarship one go and be here. I got funding as professor before Peter. But Peter got A's at his right time. So it was not, I don't think grace played a role there. It was just the right timing for you. The right timing for me. I also have people like who don't have that amount of grades, that high grades that we have, and they got it maybe much faster.
Absolutely.
You know, you see it's, or people who actually have the grades that Peter have, and they got it way very fast, like one year and they got
happens,
it.
Right.
So it's not a judgment or a verdict on who you are when you get rejections. Right?
Absolutely.
It's not that something is wrong with you or something is wrong with your grades. Well, I mean, you need to have good grades, but it's not something is wrong with you. You just have to be persistent and consistent, really.
Absolutely.
And at the right time for you, you get the opportunity.
Absolutely. So, story of persistence and the story of our life. I hope you do learn from that video, and then keep it up. You know, keep sending, and then whenever you have a response from a professor, share the good news with us. You know, leave a comment in the description, in the comment section, and if you have any question at all, I always try to respond to every question, so ask your question in the comment section and then I will try to respond to your question as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, do it to hit that subscribe button, and then don't forget to like.